Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Watch the Game podcast. I'm your man, L.A. Cheatham. Chilling with my man, Santa tonight. We back there on base.
I see.
Week 16. Pen,
Yeah,
what
man.
you think?
Yeah, man. They was cold, man. That's my assessment. They was cold. They was cold. And they was cold. When that game started, I thought Buffalo was content with coming out there and just laying down and taking that L, especially how the Bears went down the field and scored on that opening drive. But it wasn't pretty much more to talk about after that. It was cold.
Once again, the Bears played well enough just to keep us interested. And at the end of the game, we started thinking about the draft picks again.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
pretty much what happened.
Yep.
I was satisfied with two guys on the field today. Velus Jones Jr. After him having some bad moments throughout the season, fumbles, drop passes, and stuff like that, he stepped up in that weather, 10 or 11-degree weather, wherever Velus Jones is from. Like, we got to figure that out. But I don't think he is from the Midwest or Far East. He may be a down south boy or a West Coast kid. But look, for him to play the way he did in special teams, fielding kickoffs, and being able to make the biggest play of the game. I mean, outside of the touchdown pass to Pettis, he made a big catch when the game was still in the balance. I got to give it up to him.
He caught that bomb. I thought that was Pringle that caught that bomb. Or you talking about a different play?
Now, Velus Jones caught I think Velus Jones caught the biggest pass in the game today. He caught it. It was a chest catch over the shoulder. He caught it with his chest over two defenders, fell to the ground, tried to get back up, but he was touched down.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, okay, yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big catch, considering the fact that he's not been very lucky. He has blown his opportunity to make big plays. He made a big play when the game was still in the balance. And considering the weather, like I said, 10 or 11 degrees, you got to give it to him. Because I know damn well he was cold.
Listen, in the second quarter, I went out. I had to put some air in two tires. Okay. I had to put air, and the air was taking so long to be putting it. I was like, "There's no way I would be out here playing football today." And you know what? Justin had a relatively quiet day. I don't think he wanted no parts of this cold today. This is the worst he's looked in the last 6 games. I mean, he was out there. He wasn't affected. It didn't look like the Justin Fields that we have been seeing. That's been the talk of the league. He was just there.
I think the Bills did a good job of taking away his opportunity to run the football. I do think the Bears had a decent game plan when you consider the weapons they had. Early in the game, they attempted to run the football, but the Bears just could not run the football today. Whoever you threw out there, Montgomery, Fields, Khalil Herbert came back today. They just couldn't run the football today. When you take that element away from this offense, it's going to be very ineffective.
Yeah, and Khalil Herbert, I know this was his first game back. Hell of a game to come back, but he looked out of step, out of sorts. Demo had the fumble, and when he fumbled, I thought he was down. And then I looked at his body language. He just got up and ran off the field. I was like, nah, he wasn't down before they even replay. So, but let me ask you this about Josh Allen. Does Josh Allen remind you of Brett Favre with some of the chances that he be taking?
I saw that you texted earlier, and I had to think. I didn't really give it a lot of thought because I was still caught in the game situation. But I believe, I just want to say that Kyler Gordon, on the one pick he had, made a great play. It was double coverage, but he is a young corner, and maybe Josh thought he can get it by him. But Kyler Gordon made a great play. He got his interception today. And then there was another pick that was thrown. Morrow. Morrow picked that one off. Now that one was a lot of that was Brett Favre right there
Okay, and it was.
because
Go ahead.
it was they were deep in their own territory, and it's just like you were trying to figure out who he was throwing the ball to. He just threw it right to Morrow.
The one that made me question it was he was scrambling to the right. He was all the way on the numbers. He threw it back across the field. And who was 30 31? Jalen Jones.
Yeah,
If he would have played it right, he would have picked that one off. And I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
this dude is Brett Favre. There was no reason for that.
I thought he had another pick in him myself because I don't know if you talk about the same play. There was another play where he pushed it down the field, and I don't know who the corner was that batted it down. And I thought if he would have turned his head around and got his shoulders and hips turned around, he had a better chance to catch the ball than the receiver that he was throwing the ball to. So from that aspect, maybe he was being a little bit of a gunslinger today. But you got to consider the Bears' defense is probably not getting a lot of respect throughout the league. And at the end of the game, they did show a lot of disrespect on that last touchdown.
Oh yeah, that was uncalled for. The game was well out of hand. It was 28-13, late fourth quarter. Like at that point, just get up out of there, man. This is cold. Let's get back in the locker room. And they tacked on another a touchdown, but just yeah, man. Habits. If he feel like he can do that versus the Bears, he might feel like can do that in the playoff game. That might cost you. I I remember the Vikings versus the Saints when Brett Favre was playing for the Vikings. And that game went into overtime. This is the year the Saints won the Super Bowl. The Vikings could have won that NFC Championship game, and Brett Favre he just made a play like it was gunslinger-ish. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of that in Josh Allen today. Like, it's no way that he should have 2 interceptions, possibly 4, versus this defense. Because our defense ain't good enough to make him do that.
Now, that's one thing to consider. He wasn't all that impressive today. I mean, but they ran the hell out the football. The Bears couldn't run. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't run the football. They couldn't stop the run. They gave up 254 yards rushing today. And the Bears were only able to rush for 80 yards themselves. They couldn't stop the run. And when they didn't tackle particularly well, uh, when you consider that they did get 3 turnovers, the offense didn't really capitalize on the turnovers either the best way they could.
Yeah, and I think a lot of I think that comes back to the Justin factor, what he gives you in the running game, it just was not there. He Even the opportunities where I thought he had to like probe and look like he was gonna run, he looked like he was more content with trying to find somebody downfield or just I'm gonna just get the 2 yards and step up out of bounds. It wasn't the same. Just I'm gonna make a guy miss. Let me make something happen. Again, I don't know if that was the weather. I don't know if it was, hey, this is Saturday. This ain't the day we supposed to be playing. I don't know what it was, but Justin did not look like the same Justin I had been seeing for the last 6 weeks. And when you got that, when that's your best player, and that's I don't want to say the effort that he put out there, but if that's the game he gonna play, then you really don't have a chance. All these other games, they've been kind of like one-score games late because Justin has, done Justin Fields type things. Like we just said, it was 28-13, and they tacked on another touchdown for no apparent reason. Like it wasn't college football. We don't need style points.
Nah. Um, I guess he was probably trying to bump up his QBR rating, I guess, because he did have the 2 picks. And I guess working the statistics, the only thing I can think is he's working on his QBI, maybe, whatever. But Justin did not have those run plays, that 1 or 2 big run plays in this game. There's been such difference makers in most of these games all season long. And I want to say again, I think the Buffalo Bills did a really good job of taking it away because anytime he even thought he wanted to run, and there was some times where he ran when he shouldn't have ran, because I thought he could have went. He had a read option play where he probably should have gave the ball to Herbert, and he jumped off on the left side, and there was 2 defenders there waiting on him. They did a really good job of preparing for Justin today, and considering the fact, the weather, the conditions. Got to remember, Justin Fields is a southern boy now. He's from Georgia, so for him to go out there and play under these conditions, that's what I want to see today. Considering the fact they couldn't run the football, and that collaborates with the fact that they couldn't capitalize on the turnovers that the defense was able to pick up today. Uh, Next thing you know, the Bills just showed up, just ran the hell out the football, got the hell out of Soldier Field with a win.
Yeah, it was, and to the tackle, to your point about the tackling, like it was a lot of bad angles taken on, especially them 2 long touchdown runs. I'm like, dude, like, I mean, they caught flat-footed. They wouldn't even, the angle wasn't even correct to even attempt to make the tackle, let alone be in position to make the tackle. So it was just like, okay, man, I see what it is. I see. I get it. I get it. I get
It
it.
looked like guys were just running down the field, olaying each other. Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna jump over you, and I'm gonna jump over you, and I'm gonna get out the way.
right.
And
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. Like nobody was interested in tackling today. Other than Buffalo Bills doing a great job of stopping the run. Um, I pointed out Velus Jones. I was impressed with what he was able to do with the opportunity he had today. I mean, he played a decent game today. Kyler Gordon with a pretty good game today in coverage with a pick. Uh, One other guy we had concerns about when it comes to special teams, when everybody had a lot of questions about Cairo Santos. Now, if he ever need a confidence boost, it was today to go out there in Soldier Field and play under them conditions in that type of weather. He executed every time he had a chance to kick the football. So I was happy with him being able to do that, but just not enough to compete and and win the game today for the Bears.
and the fact that the Bills kicker missed 2 field goals, same conditions, that's got to pump him up too. Like I was able to figure this out. I was able to hit in these windy conditions, these frigid conditions. So, yeah, I mean, it ain't 2020 MVP Cairo Santos yet, but he looking like he's starting to get this thing back on track. But missing 5 extra points.
Five. I
Consider,
mean, that's 5 points. That's
yeah,
5 points. Now, when you talk about the team's record and 5 points is not, it really doesn't make a difference. I mean, think about it. I mean, yeah, he has not missed a big kick. A big kick. What I'm saying is we're in contention to win games and we're gonna win the division. So right there at this point in time, I think he's just auditioning for next year, just like everyone else on this team. What role they're gonna play next year, and I just think from this moment on, that's what he'll be building on. Is the opportunities to come back next year and be the kicker for this team. And when you look at it like that, if you start from scratch, which was today, I'm gonna start right now. He did pretty good in the conditions, and it's like you said, it's got to give him some confidence going forward. You know that he can go out there and kick in these conditions. And then when you think about how many games are they actually going to play at Soldier Field under these conditions, maybe 2 or 3 games. If you consider a winning season with some playoff football games attached to it, maybe four games.
what I would say probably less than that. I mean, because we was looking at record low temperatures today. So I mean, we know it's gonna be cold, but it ain't gonna be like it was today. But I know I was texting with Sean and Cutter Pac Man and Dev during the game, and they was Sean made the point like, why is Justin playing today? I think Justin should have played today because he needed the reps. But now going forward, you 3-12. I don't mind if we get to see Nathan. What's Nathan?
Peterman,
Peterman? Yeah, if we
Peterman.
see Nathan Peterman for the next 2, because at this point, I don't think the upside of Justin playing now outweighs what he's already done. Like, what are you gonna gain? The receive Mooney's out. Uh, we knew Claypool didn't play. We said that yesterday he wasn't gonna play. I doubt that maybe he gets on the field for the rest of the season, but who knows? You got a lot of guys in and out. You got a lot of guys this competing for positions and stuff next year. We know Justin is going to be here. And now at this point, if Justin gets dinged or takes a serious injury, you set everything that you setting up for next year back a whole year. So at this point, I would sit Justin down for the last 2 games. There's no reason for him to be on the field.
When you consider he did he did have his foot stepped on at the end of the game. Found that out in the press conference. Matt Eberflus said he's fine. He's doing well. He did. He was kind of limping off the field at the end, but he they did say he's doing fine right now. No injuries to Justin Fields. I guess no reason to be concerned. But he did get his foot stepped on. We had a chance to see Nathan Peterman go out there and throw up a Hail Mary bomb and got the pick at the end of the game against his former team, the Buffalo Bills. But when I think about going forward for the Bears in the next 2 games, you got the Detroit Lions. I really want to beat Detroit. I really want to be. You can't lose to the Detroit Lions twice in one season. That's unacceptable. I mean, that's unacceptable. And then when you think about it, the Bears have not won a division game all season.
In the last 2 games, yeah. Maybe get the one versus the Vikings, because I don't think, unless the Vikings playing for home field, maybe they sit a lot of guys that last game. It's going to be at Soldier Field again, so maybe we get that one just on guys trying to make the team and put something good on tape. But, yeah, I'm good on seeing Justin for the rest of the year. I mean, I'm good. And just the fact that he got his foot stepped on today, I know he's fine. He's good. But what if that thing go the wrong way? He get his ankle broke or something like that. We don't need that. We don't need it. It's not worth it.
I understand that. I don't think that's need to see a whole lot more from Justin, other than the fact if I just need somebody to go to Detroit and play well at the quarterback position. And with that being said, David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, let's lean on those 2 guys. Let's find another receiver. I don't care if it's Peterman or Justin that's gonna hit the guy. But I think Pettis, maybe they shut Claypool down the rest of the season. Who knows? I like to see N'Keal Harry. He didn't catch a pass, I don't think today.
No.
That's one guy that I've grown to like. And he didn't catch a pass today. I want to see him be more effective in the last 2 games. Just some small goals. Like I said, get David Montgomery established. See if Khalil Herbert can finish up strong. You know, I'm coming off injury reserve with no hiccups at the end of the season. Where I guess he had a hip injury or something like that.
Yeah.
But just some small goals you want to see accomplished, centered around the guys on the defense. You know, earning their opportunities to come back to camp next year. But we got to agree, this team is going to look a lot different next year. And that's all these guys are playing for, is for an opportunity to come back to Chicago or get some good tape down so they can go somewhere else in the 2023 football season. I mean, because we got the man. Justin is the quarterback. I mean, we've got that question answered.
Yeah, that's done. I mean, we would have liked to have seen him put a couple more W's in the win column this year. 3-12 right now. How many games we win last year?
6.
Yeah. So I mean, Justin didn't start the whole season last year, and that was under a different coaching regime, different front office. Oh man, so I'm just trying to process it. Like, did we take a step backwards or did we take a step forward? Because Justin solidified that he's the guy, so we needed that question answered. But everything else, the defense took a step backwards. Mooney got hurt, so we can say he didn't have a same production that he had last year. The guys you brought, Demo didn't have the same production he had last year. Khalil Herbert had a good year until he got hurt. So I'm like, where do you put the perspective on the season? Was it a step back? Was it just a straight line? Did they just kind of keep it the same? Like, I don't even know how to quantify what we've seen in this 2022 Bears season right now.
Well, when you consider, like I say, we keep going back to the beginning of the season, you set your expectations. The expectations was to see Justin show that he was the guy. Another good reason why you wanted to see Justin play today, because if he's going to be the quarterback in Chicago, days like today, in that temperatures and those weather on the lakefront, I mean, in the near future they may be moving on to a dome stadium, who knows? But for the very near future right now, he has to show that he can play in that climate and in that atmosphere and play well. Now he didn't play particularly well, but I mean, he did have. They think he had some problems with his shoulder, his left shoulder. They gave him issues earlier. Considering the fact that he went out there and just had the chance to experience playing in that weather was a step forward for him. Win, lose, or draw, because you know what you win for in the city of Chicago at Soldier Field right now. And I mean, hell, we know he's the guy.
Yeah.
That's what we found out this year. So as far as being a step back, no, I don't think so. Because you have to agree that this season the element of Justin Field has been much more exciting and given us so much more to look for in the near future than anything we saw last year.
Outside of the Steelers game he had last year on Monday night. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's outplayed that
leaps and bounds.
far a few.
Yeah,
So I mean, he's blown that game out of the water. That game just shown us potential. You know what I'm saying? That was a poorly officiated game on primetime football. I remember that game, and it doesn't even match up to some of the things we've seen this year. Some of the highlights he made, some of the throws he made to keep the team in the game. Because you think about the touchdown pass he threw against Minnesota
Mm-hmm.
to kind of put him back in position to win or be able to win that game. But Vegas, you know, no, it wasn't Vegas. The one wide receiver.
He's not on the team no more. You talking
He's
about?
not on the team anymore. He gave us an opportunity to be in position to win that game. He didn't have those opportunities last year because he was too busy in and out with the wrong game plan.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton starts the season. They putting Justin out there for gadget plays. It just this season clearly outweighs what we saw last year. I don't give a damn if you win 3 games or not. 6 games, those 6 victories just got Matt Nagy fired and Ryan Pace fired. I mean, it just got us to where we are today.
I mean, okay. If you gave me some perspective. I just thought looking at the schedule coming in, I thought we would have more than 3 victories. I definitely, like, to your point, what you said earlier, I thought we was better than the Lions on paper coming into this thing, and the Lions then called 5. They lost today to Carolina, but I think they had won 5 in a row. And you laid a nugget on me. We hadn't beat a division opponent all year. Like
Nope.
I just thought we would have I thought we'd be around the same win total, 5-6 games, and just
Yeah.
at it with those things. It's like, come on, man. And we was in a lot of them games. Bounce here, bounce there, but the Falcons game, the Giants game, the Vikings game,
The Miami game.
the Miami game. Who with the Packers at Soldier Field? He was in that
Yeah.
game. 5
Yeah.
of them, just off the top of my head. So,
Yeah. For the most part, they've been in every game outside of the Dallas game where we saw. And
they was
the
in
thing
that.
is, see, to go back to your questions about last year and this year, as bad as that as bad as that game turned out to be, that Dallas game, I think they lost like 50 or 49 to
29 to 29.
49 to 29.
Right.
And even coming away after that game, we said we were looking, it was looking good. We like, damn, we see what the possibilities are with this team. You gotta remember the game against the New England Patriots. The Bears hadn't won a game in Foxborough ever. They go to Foxborough, win a game in New England on Monday Night Football. I mean, we got so many other positive things to talk about, even in losses, than we ever had last season. Because the one game that you could point to last year was just two games that you can remember from his rookie season:
The
the Cleveland game and the Pittsburgh game.
With the 49ers game he balled out too. Remember he had that amazing touchdown run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was another highlight game, and
Yeah.
probably a game they had a chance to. I don't know if they won that game or not, but two games that I remember from last year for sure was the Cleveland Browns game, his first start, where you could tell that they did not game plan to his skill set. And then the Pittsburgh game where he showed some resilience.
Yeah.
He showed the ability to make plays, gave him a chance to win. Defense didn't get the job done at the end of the game. But to answer your question, this year far outweighs and gives us a much better idea of what needs to happen in the offseason. The Bears need to get a pass rush. They need to be able to stop the run. Get them to get some more weapons on the perimeter for Justin. I mean, get some protection for Justin. There's a lot of holes on this roster, but the one thing is we know that Justin is the man. So now they can go about building this football team going forward.
And as far as the weapons, I think they just a receiver away. I think they need a top end receiver to push everybody down one spot, and I think that'll cure the issues that they having with trying to spread the ball around. Because Cole Kmet, I think his performance this year has been like, okay, we can work with that. That's good. That'll work. We know what Mooney is, and we know Mooney and Fields got a connection. What we need to see is Chase, because we didn't get to see that, and I don't think we're gonna get to see that this year.
Probably not.
Right. You brought in N'Keal Harry. I think he was highly underused this year. Do you think Velvet Jones is on the team next year?
He got 2 more weeks to build on what he did today. That's just how I'm looking at it for the rest of the season. He's a 3rd round pick. I do think that Ryan Poles wants him to make good on that 3rd round pick. So I think he's going to get an opportunity next week in Detroit to make plays. He don't need to make a ton of plays. He just need to make maybe a couple plays next week. Maybe 3 plays. If Velus Jones can make 4 or 5 more big plays this season, I think when you look at the whole collective of the season, he will be trending up in that situation. I'm tacking it on to what he was able to do today, because the guy can scoop. He can run. He just got to get the hands right.
I'm giving him credit for the catch that he made. That was big time. But on the kickoffs, I'm telling you, I'm like, they was looking like, yo, just don't hit me hard. I won't hit you hard. So I'm not giving him no credit for them 2 run backs he had today. Now, next week is going to be in a dome, Ford Field. Now, if he do that again, okay, he got 2. But if his margin is, you said he need 4 or 5 big plays for the rest of the season, he got 1 right now.
For me,
yeah.
For me, that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said. You take today's game and you just build on from today, just like with Carlos Santos. You take today's game and you just keep building from there and see what you got coming in the training camp. That's all you got to play for at this point. I mean, I think right now they locked in the top 3 in the draft. So much they need to be done on this team to be competitive. I mean, those guys have a lot to prove. I mean, they have a lot to prove.
I got this, the Vegas Raiders, and I hate Vegas Raiders. That don't even sound right. I got the Raiders in the Pittsburgh game. I really got a problem with how the Pittsburgh Steelers handled the whole putting Franco Harris in the ring. He been in the Hall of Fame. How is his number not, retired and he in the ring of fame? And that makes no sense. And then unfortunately he passed this week. Like that's terrible on the Pittsburgh Steelers part. as big as his the immaculate reception was for getting them rolling to be the Pittsburgh Steelers that we respect today, that's a shame on them.
I mean, hey, what can you say, man? I mean, Bear fans, they're still Bear fans upset that Walter Payton didn't score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, timing is everything. Uh, but to talk about Franco, like I say, all condolences go out to the Steeler Nation, the fans, and his family. But you're right. I mean, like I say, timing is everything. But they were supposed to have him there. It wasn't in the plans, but they wanted to have him there tonight, and unfortunately, untimely. I mean, he deceased maybe a week ago today, but
I feel
like
like
you said,
as soon as if you get into the Hall of Fame, the team you play for, they need to be making plans immediately to honor you and they ring of honor, retire your number, or whatever. Like, what are we waiting for? He's been in the Hall of Fame.
Well, see, a lot of that is success. Now, don't get me wrong. You get caught up in success, and Pittsburgh has been a very successful franchise. But I think he was probably at the very beginning of some of their success. So I take your point on that. But
Yeah.
when you compound winning after that, so much winning after that, I mean, I guess you can kind of get caught up in the winning and taking things for granted. And maybe that's what you can say in this point. They kind of took his legacy for granted to a degree. Only one aspect, and that was not honoring him in the ring. However they celebrate the retirement of jerseys and putting them in the honoring those guys in Pittsburgh. But with it being said, you can't deny what he achieved, what he accomplished, what he meant to that franchise. And I think tonight, I mean, they had the opportunity to on the national stage. That game is playing on NFL Network, so it might be a lot of people that not gonna see that game tonight. But um, I mean, well deserving. Unfortunately, they passed earlier this week, but well deserving for Franco Harris.
Yeah, man, I'm fighting for Franco and his family right now. This the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate
Yeah.
Reception. You telling me in the last 50 years y'all couldn't figure this out? Nah, man.
Yes,
Nah. Yeah.
yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's bad on the Steelers. Watch the game. We got to call people out. It ain't got to be
Uh,
just the best.
well, that's how we do it, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because it wasn't on my mind to even say anything about it, but it does give me an opportunity, like I said again, celebrating that immaculate uh, reception and running it in for a touchdown against the Raiders, and think that team went on to win a Super Bowl. But it gives us an opportunity to move around the league a little bit. So we mentioned that Detroit lost to Carolina, and there was two teams that was probably on the low end of the league, but playing good football at this time. Two teams that are pretty not the most winning teams in the league, but I think you have to agree. The Carolina Panthers have been playing pretty good football for the past month or so, and so were the Lions. So it was just a clash of two Titans. The Lions still having an opportunity to make the playoffs. This is another reason why I like to see the Bears beat them because it will put them below 500. But two teams going in, and Carolina end up beating them and getting the win. I think it was something like 30. Let me see what that score 37-23. And they dominated that game for most of the game, it seems like. But and then Minnesota edged out another one again, I guess with a field goal at the end of the game, was it?
A
Against
61
the
yard.
Giants.
Yeah.
61-yard field goal.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings have winning a lot of close games this season. I think my boy Rick in my text group with the TaylorMade boys, he said, man, the Minnesota Vikings got to be the luckiest team in the NFL. Because you think about it, think about how they beat the Bills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Bills had that game,
Dude.
and they ended up beating the Bills on an error down near the goal line,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up turning that game around. And then today They win against
The Giants.
who they play?
The Giants.
The Giants. Yeah, they played the Giants and they beat the Giants on a field goal. Giants was in comeback fashion. Giants were trying to complete a comeback, but they didn't get the job done. And then we talk about tomorrow's game. We want to talk about the Green Bay North. It's still the Green Bay North to the end of the season. And you talk about the Packers going into Miami with an opportunity tomorrow afternoon again to play against the Miami Dolphins. I think that's going to be a big game. Going to be worth watching as we look around the league.
Yeah, the Vikings, I heard the stat, they are 11-0 this year in one-score games. That's
Yeah.
not going to bode well. That's not going to bode well come playoff time because it just take one bounce and it don't go your way and you out the first weekend. So, yeah, I ain't got too much faith in them. And then to touch on the Carolina Panthers, if they win out, they will win the division. They are 6-8, tied with the Buccaneers. The Saints are still alive because they went up to Cleveland. They was having weather like we was having. They won today. They 6-8. So NFC South, it ain't no guarantee that GOAT gonna get in there. I think I hate when divisions be like that. Like you 6-8, like no, you don't even. Y'all won the division, but we got wild card teams that's above 500 that deserve that spot. They need to rectify that.
Well, I mean, I'm with it. If you win your division, you win. I wouldn't tweak it. I mean, it just bring more interest to the league. I mean, but what you can do is when you start going to the wild card games where they give those division leaders the automatic home game. Well, maybe we need to alter that a little bit and honor the records and let the team with the best record get the home game. If you want to see it that way. I think that's got to be about the only way you can rectify that because I mean they did win the division. We may not like the way they done it, whoever it is, be it the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Saints. You saying all these teams can still win that division right now?
The Falcons, the only one that's out of that race. Because they lost today and they done. They can't win it.
So I mean, they still playing games that matter. They just don't deserve a home game to open it up, in my opinion.
Hey, I can go with that, but I know if it's a year and we won 10 games and lost 7, and then you get this team in with 8-9 record. No, I got a problem. I got a problem.
I feel you on that. And let's move out the division a little bit. You got we watched the Cowboys play the Eagles, and I think going into this game, the fact that Jalen Hurts didn't play, I think going in, I think it lost a little luster, a little bit of the expectations. But Gardner Minshew, I mean, hell, the Eagles put up 34 points tonight and lose 40-34. Cowboys come back fashion, get the job done. Dak Prescott had a pretty good game. He threw a pick 6 in this game, for what I understand, but
Right.
he did enough to get the victory at the end.
Yeah, Eagles had 4 turnovers, and you know what? I think we got to kind of throw this out because when Dallas went up to Philly, Dak didn't play. It was Cooper Rush. So they both had a game versus each other where they backup played. So I don't know how much you can really say which team is better because we ain't seen them both at full strength. Like I said, the Eagles had 4 turnovers today. They played the exact same way they played versus us. We just the Bears. And when I say that is we talent deprived right now. So they had 3 turnovers last week. They had 4 today. Gardner Minshew, he played well, but he also made some throws. It was like, dude, you can't do that. You cannot do that. And the defense already has spotted you a pick 6. It was up, I think, 10-3 to start the game. So
I think it was 10-0. Was it 10-0? They had a 10-0 lead at one point.
It might have been. It might have been. I know Dak, when he threw that pick 6, I was like, the man was wide open. He just threw it right to the D lineman. He just ran it back. I'm like, Jerry Jones got to be rolling in his grave right now for all this money that he didn't gave this man.
Well, we ain't gonna put Jerry in his grave right now. I mean, yeah, but he most definitely is tripping out at the bank statements. You know what I'm saying? Every time, every other week, or however they get paid, he probably looking like, damn, maybe I made a bad investment because Dak,
Nine
Dak is
interceptions.
he's just a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Not taking nothing away, but I don't really think he's a super. I don't think he's a superstar. He's not one of. I
He's
don't
a
think he's
middle of
one
the
of
road
the.
quarterback. He's a middle of the road guy, and that's
Yeah.
why Jerry didn't want to pay him what the going rate was for a starting quarterback because he knew he was just a middle of the road guy. He's been in the league 7 years now. He is what he is. So I
Now,
mean,
don't get me wrong. I'd take him over Kyler Murray. I'd take him over Jared Goff. There's some guys I'll take Dak Prescott over. Don't get me wrong, but
what we talking
he's
about
not
middle
on.
of the guys?
He's not Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow.
Keep going. He's not Josh
He's
Allen.
not he's not Lamar Jackson.
Keep going. That's four. Keep going.
I mean, and he's had his issues with health, and he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen. Eh, Bottom line is, there's a lot of guys better than him. He's not what he's
Josh
not.
Herbert.
He's not who?
Herbert from the Chargers.
Yeah,
Not him.
that's what I was thinking about. He's not Justin Herbert. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's a nice list of guys that you might take before Dak Prescott.
If
Dak Prescott is benefiting from being the Dallas Cowboy quarterback.
Jerry Jones right now, if things go sideways in Green Bay and he could trade Dak Prescott for Aaron Rodgers, the Cowboys a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I mean, that's hands down. That's hands down. But there's other guys that you can put. You ain't even got to go there for. You ain't even got to go to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we know what Aaron Rodgers is. But there's some other guys that's capable of being better than Dak. But I don't want to dump on Dak tonight because Dak won. Dak got the job done, and keep his team in the hope to maybe even win the division. I think now they split with the Eagles, and I don't know. I think Washington lost today. The Giants lost today, so that puts Green Bay in a position where they can still get in. All they got to do is go to Miami and take care of business tomorrow. Right now, the Raiders are up on the Steelers 7-0. Uh, we were talking about Geno Smith being a Pro Bowler.
Didn't play
He
well.
went up against another Pro Bowler today, and he lost. The Chiefs over the Seahawks 24-10. Just running through the league before we wrap up. The Bengals over the Patriots 22-18.
And they was
Uh,
rolling. And then
yeah,
I think Burrow had some interceptions that kind of put the Patriots back in the game, but they was rolling at first. And I looked at that score again. I said 22-12, 22-18. What's going on?
yeah. And then you talked about, okay, the 49ers still continue to look good, putting up 37, beating the Commanders 37-20. And then the Texans. Now, the interesting thing about this, as I seen the highlights roll in on this game with the Texans and Titans, this is the battle of Texas. Why do I say that? Because
Because the
the
Titans
Houston Oilers used to be the Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers.
Right. Warren Moon playing in the Astrodome, light blue jerseys. Haywood, was it Haywood Jefferson? I think the receiver's name was
Haywood Jeffries, maybe.
Jeffries. Yeah.
So this was the Texas Bowl. The Texans come out on top on this one, 19-14. And when you talk about a team that was really looking good early in the season and has really plummeted, it's been the Tennessee Titans.
I think
Derrick Henry is the man, but they just can't get it done. Outside of Derrick Henry, they just can't get it done.
I think hadn't they lost like 5 in a row or something? And I think they still winning their division.
Yeah, they 7-8 right now. But I'm just saying that they just for the past 2 weeks, they haven't really been. They really been going downhill. Like you said, they still got a chance to win the division. But I just want to take out the time to kind of point out the rest of the league. I forgot to bring up. Let's see, we got the Ravens beat the Falcons 17-9. Let's see, make sure I ain't leaving nothing out. Yeah, I think that's it for today. We kind of covered today's games,
And we got
but
what?
tomorrow we got another three games. We got the Dolphins and
Uh,
the Packers, of course. Uh,
Rams.
Russell Wilson going to L.A. to play the Rams,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Buccaneers and Cardinals. The best game on that slate tomorrow, I think, is going to be
The
Packers
first,
and Dolphins, like I said the other day.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be the first one because I guarantee you, I'm not gonna watch them other two games. And I mean, tomorrow's is NBA Christmas, so I know once we get into that 3 o'clock window, I'm watching basketball. Okay, I don't care to see Tom Brady versus Colt McCoy. Okay, miss me with that. I'd rather see Ja and Steph and them go at it. And then what's the Celtics and Bucks?
Yeah, Celtics and Bucks, and then the Suns and the Nuggets. I think they cap off to excuse me tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll catch the highlights of that one because, like I said yesterday,
You might be asleep.
no, it ain't even sleep. It's usually at that point of the day because it's 5 games on the day. It's like I'm basketballed out. I can't.
Yeah,
Denver, Jamal Murray, Jokic, like that don't do nothing for me. Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, I guess that'll do it, man. For tonight, our Bears lose another one. They just keep figuring out ways to lose games and stay in the hunt for the top pick in the drafts. Uh, they just play well enough to keep us interested in these games, and just the simple fact that they have not beaten a division opponent all season leaves, like I say all the time, it just leaves enough on the bone for us to want more Bears just to get at least one division win. And I would like to see, you would like to see Peterman, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of torn between whether or not I want to see Peterman and Justin. So I'm gonna take a couple of days and we'll get back at them on Tuesday. Let's say around 8 o'clock Tuesday night. You guys can join us and you can subscribe to us at WTG Podcast One on YouTube. Like the videos, share the videos, comment on the videos. Hey, watch the game podcast. Like I said, we'll be back at you at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, I believe. Sound like that's a good time for you, Ben?
Yeah, that's gonna work, and I'm coming in go blue crazy. I didn't been subdued for the last 2-3 weeks, but it's that time we got to start ramping up for the college football playoffs, the Fiesta Bowl. I just watched the video of them stitching the patches on the jerseys. I'm like, all right, it's time. It's time. It's time.
Speaking of that, I think I think I'm gonna take some time out and watch a few more games of the Texas TCU.
Yeah,
Kind of see what the Wolverines got ahead of them, matching up against TCU on New Year's Eve. But I gotta get some research on them because I saw them play against Texas,
yeah,
but I can't really remember that game. It was like a blur. And then they lost Big 12 championship game to Kansas State. Didn't really get a chance to see what went wrong in that game. But nevertheless, they're a one-loss team in the championship playoff, college football championship playoff, and they get to play your Wolverines, the Michigan Wolverines, at 3 p.m. I think it's 3 p.m. Central Time,
New
and
Year's
then
Eve.
after that, Georgia would be taking on Ohio State in, I guess, the nightcap of the college football championship semifinals. Like I said, I got to get a better look at TCU to see what I'm working with. I'm picking Georgia over Ohio State because I just think Georgia's playing much better than them right now.
Yeah, I'm picking that too because I don't just do the rematch scenario. I'm not afraid of Ohio State, but I just know if we play Ohio State in the championship game and we lose, that undoes everything that we've accomplished in the last 2 years. So I don't even want that want that to be a possible scenario. Let them hold that L for another year. Come to Ann Arbor, you're gonna lose again next year too.
Plus, you got to think about it. Michigan has to be. They got a. Looking at the fact they can get past TCU, they still have no reason. They got everything to play for still because you got to either you're going to go up against your rival again, which is Ohio State, or you get a chance to beat Georgia,
The
the team
rematch.
that dominated you a year ago in the same situation in the semis of the college football playoff. So, nevertheless, the Wolverines got everything to be motivated about and play well. I'm gonna take a chance to look at TCU, see what they bring, and hopefully by Tuesday, Wednesday when we get back at them. Uh, Tuesday, you say?
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, so when we get back at them Tuesday, I want to kind of have a little bit more to say about TCU. I know they got a wide receiver that I'm impressed with, and I'm not. His name kind of slips in my mind right now, but he's fast, strong, he's big, and he's fast. But you know, so watch the game podcast, man. It's your boy LA Cheatham. We'll be at your guys 8 p.m. Tuesday night.
Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Well, no, we'll be back before New Year, but have a Merry Christmas. Drink a lot of eggnog or a lot of Hennessy or a lot of something brown, whatever you got to do. But just be safe. We'll be back at y'all on Tuesday. And we out.